For almost 2 decades, Peter Dutton has proved impossible to defeat. He joined me a short time ago and I asked him if rolling Malcolm Turnbull was going to cost him votes this time.
I think Scott Morrison's doing a great job, and from my perspective I think people now see a big difference between Scott Morrison as somebody who has delivered what he said he would deliver, the budget surplus, which is incredibly important because if you don't manage the economy you can't afford to pay for health and hospital services. And on the other hand, Bill Shorten, who in my electorate, and I think across many parts of the country, and in particular in Queensland, is seen as a net liability for the Labor Party. So that's the contest, and I believe very strongly that people will support the Prime Minister and the LNP because of the big differences now. This is one of the most significant elections that people will face, given the differences between the two sides in the run-up to the election only a few weeks.
You've run 6 elections, you've won 6 elections. You're a formidable campaigner, as your opponent has said, but you seem to make a really silly error last week about the disability, no excuse for Ailey Fran's comments. How do you look back on that?
Well, I made an error, and I think any of us that are human, we make an error, we apologise for it, and that's all I can do. I can't take back the words. Obviously I was reflecting things that have been said to me locally. It was an inappropriate way to say it, and I've apologised for that. So I think that's the best way to approach it, and I think most people, when you speak to them locally, see as more important what is going on in their own households, in their local community, and they want somebody who will fight hard for them on the ground. And I've done that over the course of my time as a member for Dickson, and it's always been a very close contest, and I think it'll be close again this time.
You've done a lot in politics. You've obviously been a minister, Home Affairs Minister, and a potential PM challenger. You came very close to that. But you face the prospect here of going into opposition. Can you tell the voters of Dickson, no matter who wins the election, whether it's Scott Morrison or Bill Shorten, that you will serve out your term?
Yes, I will, yeah, without any doubt. I might look much older, but I'm 49 this year, so I've got a way to go yet, and I want to be part of the reason that we don't allow Bill Shorten to become Prime Minister, because I think it would be devastating for local families. I see today he's refusing to answer questions about exactly what cost his carbon tax would mean for small businesses, for families, for pensioners who can't afford to pay for their electricity bills now. So I'll do whatever I can to make sure that Mr Shorten doesn't become Prime Minister, because I think that's in the best interests of my local constituents, of our state and of our country.
All right, Peter Dutton, thank you.
Thanks, Matt.